Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where skincare is all about progression over perfection because perfection doesn't exist. Today I am going to be ranking some of my favorite and not so favorite Milky Toners. Milky Toners have suddenly come kind of like back into the algorithm somehow. If you've been following me for a long time, this has taken me back to when the I'm From Rice toner became big and when I used to use it like daily. But LANEIGE, when it was known as the Cream Skin Refiner, was one of the first ever Milky Toners to really put Milky Toner on the market. But what is a Milky Toner and why are they so popular all of a sudden, or why are they popular again, should I say? Well, a Milky Toner is a type of facial toner. You know toners, but they're different because they're creamy. They're almost like a lotiony type texture, like really watery one, as opposed to the more traditional watery or clear consistency of your plain hydrating toners. And Milky Toners are usually formulated to provide extra hydration and nourishment to the skin, verging on moisturization, and they're really good for people with dry, sensitive, or dehydrated skin. Now, because of their thicker, more emollient-like textures, Milky Toners can give your skin a more plumper, more kind of like instant radiant appearance, making them super popular again with the emphasis on hydration, dewy, glowy glass skin. As I mentioned, they became really popular at first when LANEIGE launched their Cream Skin Refiner back in 2019, which since then has changed its name and gone through a few reformulation changes, I believe. And I remember when this first launched, it was ages ago, 2019, and people were like, confused. They were like, is this a moisturizer or is this a toner? It's kind of both. And since then, numerous brands have launched their own Milky Toners. I'm From Rice toner, along with the LANEIGE Cream Skin Refiner being some of the most classic. And I believe that with the re-rise of K-beauty as it picks up in popularity on TikTok, Milky Toners have just become super popular again. People are just going through the cycle and rediscovering K-beauty trends. However, there is a plethora of them out there, and I want to share toners that I've used, what ones I feel are the best and the worst, and I'll be doing this in kind of order of worst to best, in my opinion, and I'll be featuring brands that I've done sponsorships with before, just so you know, but this has no sway in this video, and nor is it part of the contracts I've had with previous sponsorships. I do want to also quickly mention there's one from The Ordinary that I've not even tried yet, so don't ask me about that. I know that one's particularly popular. Let's start with what I consider the worst, and this has to be Thayers Milky Toner, and this toner really does have everything going for it. It's very hydrating, it's such a nice texture, and it has snow mushroom, which is a great humectant alongside hyaluronic acid. It's very nicely hydrating, but it's 10 for a reason, because no matter what I do, no matter how I use this product or what I use it alongside, it just foams up on my face all the time. So it's this horrible user experience, to be honest with you, but for the price, I think I would deal with that horrible user experience. It's very hydrating, very nourishing, and it does give you a really nice glow. But for me personally, I spend a lot of time trying to get rid of that foaming up on the face. What I will say about Thayers is, whilst in general their products aren't my favorite, I think for the price points, the products are good. I would never not recommend them, you know? Like, I would recommend, like, if you're like, oh, I just want a hydrating toner, what should I get? You don't want any massive actives in it that are gonna like interfere with other actives. I'll say just go for Thayers, you'll be fine. 9 is a controversial one. That is Rhode's Glazing Milk. Now, let me just explain something, because when I described this as a toner over on TikTok, people kicked off because Rhode actually call this an essence. So what is the difference between a toner and an essence? Very little, to be honest with you, but that hasn't always been the case though. Back in my day, toners were the first step after cleansing, and their sole purpose was to rehydrate the skin, and they were always lightweight, very watery. You could like put them on a cotton pad and, you know, they'd like sink perfectly into the skin. You'd usually have to use a cotton pad because they were so watery. And essences also serve their own purpose. They would often come after toners, and the sole purpose would to be used almost like, if we're talking traditional essences, they were used to plump the skin, often include fermented ingredients that were more catered towards evening out skin tone, brightening the skin, more potent ingredients, but it wasn't quite a serum or an ampoule. And they focus on fine lines and skin brightening, and they were kind of like an anti-aging product, I guess you can say. SK2, Misha Time Revolution Essence, they are traditional essences. But nowadays, the only real difference, between toner and an essence, and in some cases even a serum, is whatever the brand want to call their product. So I have included this product because it is essentially a milky toner whose ingredients don't really push it into that essence stage. And honestly, I wanted to love this, but for me, it was just a little bit too thick for my oily T-zone, and it also broke me out a fair bit. And compared to other milky toners on this list in particular, it offers very little other than the hydrating, calming, and barrier repairing properties that they all have. Objectively though, it's a very nice toner, and I see why people like it. It does contain ingredients that we see in nearly every single milky toner nowadays. You've got your ceramides, beta-glucan, other various molecular weights of hyaluronic acid, and barrier repairing ingredients, fatty acids. It's a nice list of ingredients. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a nice product and a very good multi-step product all in one. Cleanse, use this, then probably just a sunscreen, because this is quite moisturizing and your skin will probably love it. But for me, it just didn't work. It broke me out so bad. Number 8 is going to be BYOMA. This used to be a bit higher on my list until I found some more, but this is a perfect budget-friendly hydrating milky toner that is honestly better than most of its more expensive competitors. It contains polyglutamic acid, which is an amazing humectant. Like, if you like hyaluronic acid, you're gonna love polyglutamic acid because it's said to be able to hold on to way more like water content, but also keep it there for longer. And I feel like this is reflected more in the feeling and the look of your skin as well. Like, my skin always just looks way more hydrated and feels more deeply hydrated after using polyglutamic acid, not just this toner, but polyglutamic acid in general. And then of course we have the ceramides that BYOMA are famous for, alongside Centella Asiatica, which is nice and soothing. And for 12-ish pounds, I think this is an absolute bargain, as is most of BYOMA's products. Number 7 is Good Light's Moon Glow Milky Toning Lotion. This is one of the more hydrating feeling milky toners that I've actually ever used in general. It has a very, very gentle exfoliating twist to it through a couple of natural AHAs. We have the usual niacinamide and ceramides you get in milky toners. They're a very common ingredient you're going to find. But we also have meadow foam seed oil, which helps heal your skin barrier, and snow mushroom, which we mentioned before, which is another great hyaluronic acid alternative. My only issue with this is the lavender scent, which I personal preference, I do not like the smell of lavender. It makes me feel sick. It makes me feel travel sick. Otherwise, this would be much higher up. Number 6 is Purito's Oat-in Silky Toner. This is a super underappreciated milky toner. No one's talking about it. No one's talking about the Oat-in range actually in general, and it's amazing, especially if you have damaged skin that needs calming and healing. We have beta-glucan in here, which is moisturizing and healing, but also has that meadow foam seed oil, which again is healing, but it's also a non-greasy oil, so you're left really hydrated and moisturized in a nice lightweight, non-heavy feeling product. And of course there's oat kernel extract in here, which is so soothing. I look for this when my skin is beyond irritated, and it's a common ingredient actually in the type of moisturizers I love for barrier healing and soothing, especially when it comes to my rosacea. Number 5, a classic, is the I'm From Rice toner, and I really had to go back into the archives for this one. As I mentioned at the beginning, I used this years ago, but it is making a bit of a comeback, and I used this toner non-stop for about 2 years, and my skin was well balanced. There was no excessive sebum production whatsoever, more even skin tone, really probably just down to me consistently using one product consistently, but also the niacinamide in here. I know a lot of people find niacinamide overwhelming because it's in everything. My skin loves it, but it also has this brightening property to it, and the way it just makes your skin look instantly upon use is so nice. It just looks more even, bouncy, and hydrated. There is an ingredient in this one called pearl saint extract, which helps with irritated skin. It's anti-inflammatory, and it's also an antioxidant, and it's a very simple ingredient list in this one, as is with all of the I'm From products, but this really does just leave your skin looking and feeling super smooth, cared for, moisturized, and hydrated. I need to get back on this one. I need to reopen one, get back into using it once I know I can consistently use it. Number 4 is Beauty of Joseon Glow Replenishing Rice Milk Toner or something like that. This is one of the brands I had a sponsorship with before, but I love this. This is, where is it? Over there. This is what they call a double layered toner. So you have your one layer, which is the moisture, and then one layer, which is almost like powder. I think it's like kaolin, which you often find in clay masks, which makes this sound really drying, but it's not. The moisture layer obviously moisturizes, but it's so lightweight. It's lightweight, non-greasy, and then the powdery bit helps absorb excess sebum. So the toner has an overall not matte finish, but it also won't leave you looking overly dewy, but then you also look moisturized and hydrated. It's this perfect in between. If you don't like dewy, glowy skin, but you still want to look well hydrated and feel it, this is perfect. And we still have those barrier repairing and loving ingredients like ceramides, and nice calming ones like panthenol and centella, and something called Coptic japonica root extract, which is a medicinal herb to help soothe inflamed skin. It's a very, very nice toner. I honestly though, I do wish it was a little bit thicker. At first, I didn't want to use it because it looked so watery, like almost too watery. I thought it would just like slip down my arms, which it doesn't, but it does need to be just that little bit thicker. But the way it makes my skin look and feel, I will continue to just keep using this. This is one of those toners that I have backups for. Backups upon backups of. ANUA's Milky something, this one, whatever this one is. I have been using this toner non-stop for about 2 months now. Oh, this is another one I had a sponsor with over on TikTok. I love it. It's just the perfect mix of, I think when people think of Milky toners, they think of these really heavy LANEIGE cream skin refiner weight, right? But it's a really nice mix of like a traditional lightweight toner, yet that deep moisturization hydration. My interest was initially piqued by the rice because that's just been a consistent thing in my routines that my skin has loved. Also throughout all the Milky toners and K-beauty product phases, rice seems to be there all the time and my skin loves it all the time. And that rice water along with niacinamide in here is great for brightening skin tone, texture, pore care, ceramides for barrier support and to help lock in all that hydration, panthenol and glycerin and allantoin to soothe the irritated and inflamed skin that a lot of people have when they choose to use a Milky toner. If you're like, Milky toners don't really interest me because they sound thick, they sound too moisturizing, too heavy, I've got oily skin, this is one that honestly I really think you'll enjoy all the benefits of a Milky toner in a super lightweight formula. Even better actually, I think their serum, I'm pointing at things and you can't even see it. Their rice, ANUA 7 Plus ceramide, whatever it is, serum is incredible. Incredible. We'll talk about that another day. Number 2, I'm not going to go on for that long about. Again, another sponsor, but that sponsor doesn't go beyond the sponsor video I did. The TIRTIR Milky Toners. Both of them, the lightweight version and the thicker one. This takes me back to when K-beauty Milky Toners were in their prime. It hydrates you as expected from a Milky Toner, includes all the usual ceramides, oat kernel extract, and other Milky Toner essentials, including ingredients like niacinamide, beta-glucan, copper tripeptides, which is a new one for most Milky Toners, and we are getting hydration, moisturization, plumping, targeting fine lines. This can act like your toner, essence, serum, all in one step. And this is a very good example of what I mean by like toners and essences and serums are very much closing that fine line to become like all these like multi-purpose kind of products. They do have their normal thicker Milky toner, then they have their light version. So whether you're very oily, whether you're very dry, or your combination and your skin changes all year round, you can pretty much chop and change what toner you're going to use depending on how your skin feels that day. I love it. It's just kind of like one of the go-to if I'm having a really lazy morning routine, don't know what I want to do with my skin, or I'm not really doing anything, I will cleanse, use a Milky toner, and then moisturize, of course, depending on what my skin is that day, or like a one-off serum or whatever. I just feel like you've done enough for your skin, even in the laziest of routines. I know a lot of people often ask me, what if you, for whatever reason, can't get to the sink, or you're just exhausted, or neurodivergent, bedbound for whatever reason, and you can't do a full routine, micellar water and cotton pads by your bed, either a toner like this or like an all-in-one serum, then a moisturizer. But this is a perfect example of a one and done kind of product that you can have at the side of your bed. do a very minimal routine, but your skin really benefits from it the most, as if you just done like a multi-step. Not that multi-step's always better, but you know what I mean. And of course, number one, I have to kind of stick with the classic, has to be the LANEIGE Cream Skin Refiner. Whilst it wasn't the first ever Milky Toner, it's the one that started people's love for this kind of toner. It's been reformulated, as I mentioned right at the beginning, I think numerous times, and even now it focuses more on trending ingredients that either weren't in the original formulations or they just didn't highlight, like ceramides and peptides. And whilst yes, these are buzzy, trendy ingredients, they're also obviously really, really beneficial for the skin, and they've been in our skincare all along. People just haven't really talked about them. Obviously targeting our skin barrier and plumping the skin. An ingredient they've left in their toner is white leaf tea water, to help moisturize, soothe, and strengthen the skin with amino acids. It's a lot lighter than it used to be. It's not too thick, but saying that it's also not too lightweight, but it still gives you that much needed hydration and almost moisturization as well. So if you have drier skin especially, you will love this, because this toner was designed to be a hybrid between toner and a moisturizer, offering that really deep hydration in a lightweight liquid format. But if you're very oily, you may find it a little bit too thick. But it did become really popular for its ability to hydrate, soothe the skin, and moisturize all in one step, making it particularly good for those with dry skin or sensitive skin, and anyone looking really to kind of like just streamline their routine, which I feel like a lot of these Milky toners do. If you're very, very oily, this is a great toner option to use. Skip a moisturizer, then go straight into sunscreen, or even in the summer when it's really, really hot, just use Cream Skin Refiner or whatever it's called nowadays, and then you'll be sorted. You'll be moisturized enough. So there we go. That was my personal ranking of current Milky toners. I know there's loads more going to be released. I have lab samples of some brands that are launching Milky toners. I've seen like early access kind of things. There are going to be more, and I feel like they're only going to get better. I'm not complaining because the toner stage is my favorite part of the routine. So yeah, I want to see more innovation with this. Now it's becoming popular again. I feel like every K-beauty brand, it feels like they need their version of a Milky toner, which usually I would complain about, but I get through them so quick, I'm kind of looking forward to using more. But let me know what you think about these products down below, if you've used any of them. If you think my ranking is wrong, let me know down below. Re-rank them down below. You can watch some more product reviews here, some general light entertainment here, and I'll see you over there.